Hi, beauties. Welcome back to our Monday interview podcast. I am so excited for our special guest today who is sitting right next to me on the couch. His name is Dr. Alejandro Junger, and he is a New York Times bestselling author, an LA-based cardiologist, and the founder of the health and wellness company Clean. He also has a new book out that's called Clean 7.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here with us today, coming up the hill. I know you live in Venice.
It was worth it. The view is incredible.
Isn't it incredible? It's so peaceful up here.
Yeah, very nice.
So when I was reading your bio, I was really interested in how, first of all, a cardiologist would become interested in cleansing and detoxing in a much more holistic approach. Most cardiologists I know are quite...
I really didn't.
Tell us how did this come about?
I didn't really become interested in detox as a, chosen curiosity.
What happened?
What happened was I got really sick. I was diagnosed with 3 diseases. I was given 7 prescription medications.
Which diseases?
Irritable bowel syndrome, severe depression, severe allergies.
Wow.
I was given 7 prescription medications. And this is already being a cardiologist.
Wow.
So I had these 2 aha moments. One was that I wasn't going to live that way, 7 pills a day just in order to function. And the other aha moment was, this is what I'm doing for my patients. So I said, I'm going to find a different solution for my health issues.
Wow.
That took me kicking and screaming to find detoxification. And then when I found it, I was completely skeptical. I hadn't learned this in medical school.
Exactly. I was going to say, this is not part of your formal training.
It sounded like hokey pokey. But one thing that I am thankfully wired to is not to argue with results, with success. Or with disaster, right? So when there's disaster, you don't do that anymore. When there's success, you try to really understand what's going on, and through cleansing and detoxification, I found not only the solution for my problems, but eventually found the solution for hundreds of thousands of people.
So did you try the medication route and you didn't want to stay on the meds, or right away were you like, I'm going to seek alternatives?
So I was so desperate that I did try.
Okay. For 3 diseases that are
not for long,
debilitating.
Not for long though. I was given antidepressants and anti-anxieties, yes, and they did not make me feel alive. Maybe they took that deep sadness or sense of doom that was paralyzing me, right? But it wasn't really a solution.
Right.
And I understand that for a lot of people, it is. And hopefully it is just a bridge until you find what is really going to solve things from the root, right? And for me, it was detoxification.
How long ago was this?
This was in 2001 or 2002 when I found these things.
So you were a practicing cardiologist, seeing all these patients, and suddenly
I'm living in Palm Springs.
Okay.
I'm working. I have admission privileges in 4 hospitals. So
wow.
Morning rounds, I started at 4 or 5 in the morning, and then when I finished my 4 hospital morning rounds, I went to 3 different offices to work in different days. Right, when I saw more patients. Right, and then I was on call for overnight, many nights too. And I had gotten sick in New York while doing my training when I was diagnosed. And then I stopped everything. I graduated as a cardiologist, but I took off and I went to an ashram in India.
Wow.
And then I lived there for a while. I was exposed to...
What called you to India?
I had a very strong encounter with a spiritual teacher, with a guru. And she kind of...
Which one?
Guru Mai.
Ah.
And she smacked me on my chest and put me in this state, which is what I aspire to every day.
I get goosebumps. So you started learning how to meditate.
So I started learning how to meditate. That's the reason I went to India.
Wow.
To her ashram.
Was it in Rishikesh?
No, in a place called Ganeshpuri.
Oh.
I don't know. It's somewhere in
Okay.
India.
Yeah, somewhere in this vast, vast subcontinent.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go to India, you've
Yeah.
stopped practicing cardiology.
Well, once you're a cardiologist, you're always a cardiologist. Whether you're working
Sure.
in an
You had all
office
that
with charts.
training for a bajillion years.
Yeah, so every time you see somebody and they have a cardiology problem, you recognize it and you do something about it. But then I started adding other things to.
But when you were a trained doctor, was it really like, okay, here's the issues with the heart, here's medication, here's surgery? You had no training formally up until that point about diet or food or
Very little.
nothing. They don't really cover that in medical school, do they?
They don't, and they don't cover that in hospitals.
Right.
I mean, you just have to look at the hospital's cafeterias and see what they're feeding.
Well, they give them Ensure.
Yeah, it's a
It's
disaster.
gross drink. They
It's
tried
a
to give my
disaster.
mom when she was in there. I said, no way.
Yeah. So I hadn't had any, and in fact, neither of any of the three doctors that I saw, a gastroenterologist, an allergist, and a psychiatrist, nobody asked me what I ate.
Jeez.
And I wasn't even
with
surprised.
IBS. Can you imagine?
Yeah. I can't imagine because I lived it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So took off in the ashram. Food was not only vegetarian, but prepared with love.
Yeah. And
meditation.
Ayurvedic concept.
And I was running the first aid station there where we saw people from all over the world that were living there. And also
You were volunteering?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So also I was running the first aid station, the little clinic there. And also we were going in a bus turned hospital around the poorest towns and villages where we at any given day had up to 300-400 patients in a line that walked for 2 weeks to see us. And
wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. But living there, I started getting a little better. Not fully, but a little better. With all the meditation and all the vegetarian food and everything. And then I came back to the States, to Palm Springs, to work in the hospitals, and I got sicker than even before.
Did you go back to the diet you were eating before you left?
Well, yeah.
What was your diet? Were you eating a lot of meat and dairy?
I was on a seafood diet. I saw food, I eat. Whatever I see, I eat.
So you were eating whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
One day, this guy comes to my house whom I had seen 10 days before, and he was just like a lit bulb, it was shining and glowing, and I lost a bunch of weight. And I saw him 10 days before. I said, what the hell? And he said, well, I just came from a detox center. Come, let me show you. It was just, 5-minute drive from where I was living in Palm Springs, called the We Care Spa.
Mm-hmm.
And he took me there, and there, the owner is an Argentinian woman who not only speaks my language, but super smart and super well read, and of course tuned in, and years of practice of guiding people through this. And she basically started me on this journey of detox, through which in the first 10 days I got rid of all my problems. Not only that, I was looking and feeling 10 years younger. So I said, whoa.
What were you eating in that time? Pure vegan, mostly raw vegan?
So those 10 days were just juices, colonics, enzymes, probiotics. Yeah.
All the good stuff.
Well, some of the good stuff. So I, transformed myself to the point that all my friends, my family, my patients, they were all asking, what are you doing?
So then you went back to being a cardiologist.
It's not that I went back. I never stopped being a cardiologist.
Well, I mean, you took a break to go to India.
I didn't take a break. I took a break from the establishment.
Yeah.
Working in an office.
Sure, going to that
with
hospital.
Nurses and 7 minutes per patient. I took a break of that. Okay. But then I was working again there, which made me really sick because this is a competitive, cutthroat business.
And it must have felt strange to come back into that environment where it's just medication and surgery and no one's talking about food and lifestyle and eliminating inflammatory foods, all the aspects of detoxing.
Yeah. I mean,
start to feel disconnected.
In a way. I mean, I wasn't fully there yet, but then I started really studying and learning, and then whatever I saw happening at the We Care Center, which I thought was magic, or I then discovered the Institute for Functional Medicine, which, in the language of medical school, in the language of Western medicine, explained to me all things that I already knew, but grouped them and connected them in a different way. So, for example, I knew what the liver was, I knew what the kidney was, I knew what the lymphatic system was, but I never thought of all these things as forming, as being a part of a system, the detoxification system. So once I understood what this system works and why it works and how it works and how you can strengthen it, accelerate it, optimize it, then, I started getting incredible results with people.
So let me ask you, Dr. Younger, so detox is something we've been talking about in the community for years. So it's something that's of great interest to me as well. And I always look at it as two types of detox, as I call it. The ones that, where you go onto a program or you do a juice fast, you do like a set amount of time where you really go in deep. And then your everyday life, which isn't a diet, more of a lifestyle, incorporating more fiber, taking probiotics, just how you live your life. Because sometimes we get a lot of questions about, detox seems really extreme. Is it just something I do once a year, versus how I live? So can you tell us a little bit about, because we are detoxing all the time.
So imagine
your perspective.
A detox program is you hire a crew of cleaners, and in 3 days you clean every single corner of your house. In between those lines in the ceiling, everywhere. That's a detox program.
Yeah. What about in between the cleanings?
In between, you got to keep your house somewhat clean.
Yes.
Or clean, right? It's just that not every day you go into the ceiling with the stairs and you clean every corner and you go under the carpet, right? Day to day, you
so it's more that extreme.
You vacuum, you clean the windows, and everything looks good. But if somebody comes and does a deep cleaning, they're gonna notice stuff, and we can go around your house. I'll show you some spider webs if you want.
Oh, for sure.
So
how often do you think people should do that deep clean?
Well, it depends on how dirty your house is. It depends on what you do between deep cleanings. Another example that I use is detox programs are like taking a shower, and how often you need to shower it depends on what you do between showers.
That's right. That's right. So it just depends. It's so individual. Depends on the state of the person, their diet, their lifestyle, their constitution.
Yeah. Some people should detox for the next 3 years. Other people should detox once every 3 years. Depends.
Well, tell us about your 3 pillars of clean.
So many years ago, I wrote a book called Clean, which is a 21-day program.
Yes.
That is transformational. People that do it sometimes become health gurus themselves. And they go into it and they end up studying, and, I can name a few. As transformational as it is, I realize not as many people as they need are doing it. And, for years I've been looking into it and understood that 21 days for the average Joe or Josephine in America is a big commitment. So
people are busy.
People are busy.
They have families.
And there's birthday parties and vacations and holidays.
And work gets busy.
And work. And so a lot of people were not engaging because it was too long. So, I used to tell people, well, do the first 7 days of the 21 days. It happens that in the first week, usually on a detox program, it's the worst week.
Oh, yes.
So
your skin starts breaking out. You start getting headaches.
So for 10 years, I've been looking for ways to shorten the time and deepen, accelerate, intensify, the results. And I did by combining, my first book, my 21-day program, is basically concepts that I learned from functional medicine and just from life in general.
So you went back to the functional medicine? Well, you studied with them too.
I've been studying with them since I discovered all these things, and I'm a functional medicine student.
Are they here in LA too?
They're all over the world. Yeah, but then I started going to India. I studied with my Ayurvedic medicine master. I was lucky that I was one of the last ones that he taught
in India.
In Lucknow. Yeah, he was a legend. He was amazing, Dr. Narendra Singh. And he taught me about certain Ayurvedic medicine principles that specifically will enhance the clean program, because he had read my book. And when he saw me, he said, he was a very serious man. He said, this is a Ayurvedic medicine book. I said, no, Narendra, this is a functional medicine book. It's the same thing. So
principles of panchakarma and cleansing were already woven in?
Principles of panchakarma and karma were not woven in. Instead, they're still not woven, because the principles that I learned from him that will really enhance cleansing and detoxification were observing the dosha diet. Being
more specific to your body type.
More specific to your body type. So he said, you're treating everybody the same.
Yes.
And they will get results. But there's differences between kapha, pitta, vata.
Yes.
And then he taught me what herbs to use as well. And that's where I was like, whoa, in 7 days now, somebody can have a full-on experience. Not the 21-day full-on experience, but full-on enough that people would be excited, inspired, and make a commitment to continue or at least apply many of these principles on a daily basis.
And in Clean 7, there's some kind of self-diagnosis or quiz so people can tell their body type.
Which is pretty okay. You don't need to go to the best specialist.
Can you tell what I am by looking at me?
I cannot, because I'm not an Ayurvedic medicine expert. So I do know how to use certain Ayurvedic medicine principles within what I do. Right? I am, though, very interested, and since then, for the last 10 years, I've been looking into it.
The pulse reading.
But I'm not the kind of guy that's going to pretend that,
Oh, that's good.
That he's an Ayurvedic medicine master.
I mean, there's some physical characteristics they say, but then there's a lot of nuances too.
There are, but I've tried to guess and I'm falling short. Give me a few years and then I'll come back and look at you and tell you.
I've had 2 Ayurvedic doctors say I'm actually tridoshik. But when imbalanced,
it was a tricky question.
Yeah, it's a trick question. But my vata definitely is the one that gets imbalanced. Okay, so you started incorporating Ayurvedic principles into the program.
And intermittent fasting principles.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
So now,
there's so many different forms of IF.
Clean 7, the program, is a 7-day program that has functional medicine principles, Ayurvedic medicine principles, intermittent fasting principles. So from functional medicine, I borrow the Elimination Diet, which is a powerful way of eliminating everything that's allergic, that causes other food sensitivities, that causes severe acidity or mucus forming.
So in your program, doctor, do you eliminate one at a time so you can tell? How do you know? How do you identify?
Okay, so you eliminate all at once.
Oh, keep it super simple.
And not only super simple. There's a misconception. Some people try to quit sugar.
Yeah.
And they have a really difficult time. Some people try to quit gluten and they have so they think, oh my God, if sugar is difficult, gluten, sugar, dairy, alcohol, coffee, oranges is going to be impossible. Yeah. But the truth is that in practical terms, the people that eliminate everything at the same time can do it way better. Because what happens is one of the food groups triggers the compulsion to eat another. For example, if you have bread, then you have a high of at the beginning of the gluten and then with the low ones you're craving sugar,
caffeine or coffee.
Yeah. So you compensate for one.
Yes.
So when you quit one and you take that, it's impossible. But when you quit them all at the same time,
it's for 7 days.
Well, if you want to do clean 7, it's for 7 days. If you want to do the clean program, it's for 21 days. But whichever you
well,
do.
then what after that?
So from functional medicine, I get the elimination diet and the 5 R's, which is removing all the toxins, not only in your food, but in your cosmetics, in your household products.
Class cleaning, yeah.
Yeah, removing toxins, removing yourself from toxic situations, removing the triggers and sources of toxic emotions.
Oh, you talk about relationships a little bit?
A little bit.
Yeah, because
I'm no expert, but I've had relationships.
Yeah. So well, you know how toxic that can be.
Well, I know. I can give a lecture on that. You know, I'm an old man. I've lived a lot, so I've seen a lot. And then, so replace, right? Replacing all the nutrients that are needed, replacing other things like, relaxation, sleep, and then re-inoculation with good bacteria, because in the removal part is also removal of the bad flora, right? So re-inoculation with the good bacteria, with the good fungi, then relaxation. So those are the 5 R's from functional medicine. That's one of the pillars of Clean 7, of the program. Another pillar is Ayurvedic medicine. So you have the doshas. You have a questionnaire that you can answer, and you can determine what dosha you are. And the way I apply the dosha system to my cleansing, my detox program, is the elimination diet gives you basically the 5 big groups, gluten, sugar, dairy, alcohol, and coffee. And then to that, you add the foods that your dosha recommends that you eat less or none of. Right? So depending on which one you are, if you're fire, your pitta is
less
out of
onions
control.
And garlic.
Yeah, less spicy foods, less mango, less all the things that whose dosha is the same as the one that you're trying to avoid.
Wow, I never heard that about mangoes. Is mango bad for pitta? How come?
I don't know. I learned it in the ashram. There's this woman that had really bad sweats, and hives
from mangoes.
Because she was drinking mango juice all the time, and the Ayurvedic doctor at that time said, "Stop the mango." I wanted to give her an anti-allergic.
Wow.
She said, "No, stop the mango for a few days." She stopped it. All her her hives went away.
Incredible.
Yeah. So the dosha distinction in the dosha diet and Ayurvedic herbs. So I use certain Ayurvedic herbs that are really beneficial for the detox system in itself.
Like which ones?
Turmeric, ashwagandha, moringa.
Well, how does ashwagandha?
Shatavari for women.
Shatavari is amazing. Now we hear ashwagandha, strengthening. How does it help with detox?
Well, ashwagandha is not only strengthening, but it's also calming if the situation is stressed. Because ashwagandha is a big time adaptogen. So that means that whenever there's a hyper, in terms of adrenals and emotions, blood pressure, it'll bring it down. And if there's a low of that, it will bring it up. So it's kind of a balancing hormone.
Amazing. And how do you recommend people?
And Tulsi, the mother herb of Ayurvedic medicine, which is good for everything.
Lacroix sparkling water was developed to give health-conscious consumers refreshment, flavor, and sparkle with an innocent twist of 0 calories, 0 sweeteners, and 0 sodium. You can find a full list of retailers when you visit lacroixwater.com. Distinctive packaging, robust aroma, and natural essence make Lacroix the innocent alternative for health-conscious consumers. I personally love drinking Lacroix, especially for all those times when I want to satisfy my fizzy drink cravings, helping me stay on track with my healthy, plant-based lifestyle. I also love knowing that Lacroix sparkling water is a calorie, sweetener, and sodium innocent beverage with nothing artificial. And lately, I've been really liking and loving the pure, unflavored sparkling water where I squeeze in a wedge of lemon right from my tree. And it's just a very simple but crisp, clean, clear, delicious beverage. For more information, join the Lacroix community on social at at Lacroix Water or check them out at lacroixwater.com and find out which flavor could be your favorite. Hi, beauties. I have some exciting news. It's official. Our show is now available on Spotify and it is free. We want to make it super easy for you and your friends to listen to our podcast. And joining Spotify allows us to be in more places for fans to find us. And we can build our community even further. Spotify is helping listeners discover the shows they love. And now our Feel Good podcast is one of them. If you're already listening to music on Spotify, now you can listen to our podcast in the same place. And if you're not on Spotify yet, all you have to do is download the free app. That's right, no credit card necessary, and simply search for our Feel Good podcast to start listening for free. How do you take the herbs in your program? In hot water or with food?
So the book describes how to do the program without you needing to buy anything except the herbs that you can buy anywhere, right? And those you take according to the instructions in the bottle. I recommend the brand Organic India, which disclosure owns half of my company as well. But
they have tea.
Yeah, they have tea and the best, most powerful, freshest, most prana containing Ayurvedic herbs in the world because of the way that they grow them Ayurvedically, organically, biodynamically.
That makes a big difference.
With regenerative agriculture and the incredible standard of quality. Even their factory in India is platinum leads, the building of a factory. So these people are serious. And the reason I even let them buy half of my company is because for me, it's what I aspire to be is like them, like the way they do business, the quality that they, so our kit is with shakes that are all come from organic biodynamic farms with pea protein and some rice protein and all the Ayurvedic herbs within the shake itself, right? And some of them that would give the shake too bad of a taste, we provide them as pills and the teas, and so it's a little box with all the shakes and the teas and the supplements. Or you can just make your own shakes according to recipes in the book. And then buy your own Ayurvedic herbs. So you can take them. Ayurvedic herbs are good whole, in tea form, in tincture form.
Yeah, they say like sometimes, I know certain herbs, the hot water helps to activate some of the properties in tea. Okay, so Ayurvedic principles, and then the third was intermittent fasting.
And then I needed a humph, to...
Yeah.
And that's the intermittent fasting. Because when you go into the fasting state, then something happens that you cannot achieve if you don't go into the fasting state.
Well, your body turns on autophagy. It starts cleaning itself.
Yeah, maybe autophagy doesn't turn on in 24 hours,
Well, is this 24 hours? There's so many different
within the 7 days,
IF.
There's 24 hours in which you don't eat. But I build you up to that. Because most people are not accustomed or even...
We're so attached to food.
Yeah, and nobody fasted except if you're a Jew and you fasted on Yom Kippur, or if you're
Muslim on Ramadan.
But Ramadan, you don't stop eating for 24 hours, right?
Well, I think you eat when the sun goes down.
Yeah, so
I'm not sure. Right?
I'm not sure either, but there's forms of fasting in religion, and people have experienced it through those.
Yes.
Channels, right? But in general,
person in the United
who
States
stops eating for 20? So from day one to day 2, you wait 12 hours between dinner and breakfast. From day 2 to day 3, you wait 14. From day 3 to day 4, you wait 16. So you have dinner earlier and you wait until you have breakfast. That's 16 hours. And then on the 4th to the 5th day, it's 24 hours. After lunch one day, you don't have anything but tea until lunch next day.
Wow.
So that really just
turns it on.
Gives it the turbo effect, and the people just feel amazing after it. I mean, not as profound and as completely as when you do a deep cleaning of 21 days, because biology takes its time to do certain things, and what is done in 21 days you can't do in 7, no matter how connected you
No, but
are.
it's a good,
But it's
jump
a
start.
really good jump start, and a really good way of also maintaining.
Well, what do you think, doctor, when you were mentioning about the program, or when you started getting into this colonics and enemas, do you recommend people to do? Because, and I'll just say personally, when I was in New York, I used to be very constipated and I had a lot of bloating issues. There was a period in my life where colonics were really helpful. Personally, I did gravity once, but I think it's really dependent on the practitioner. It depends on people's bodies. Now I have an enema kit, which I use sometimes, not right now that I'm pregnant, but what do you think?
I think that colonics can be really helpful. I think they can turn into an addiction.
Yes.
And that's dangerous.
And then you're just over.
I think that you're absolutely right. This is an operator dependent.
Yes. It's not one size fits all.
Yes. So you can, a bad operator can kill you, because if you have diverticula and they put too much pressure and they burst it, and so
well, people with diverticulitis aren't even supposed to do colonics, are they?
Well, but the bad operators don't even ask the question. And some people don't even know that they have diverticulitis. Right. So how can you filter everybody? But a good, gentle, experienced operator, colonic therapist, will not burst your diverticula, even if you have them and you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the operator dependent, very important, right? But it's also the context. When are you having colonics? If you have them during detox times, when actually stool can get stickier than normal, because this is a moment in which you've been accumulating mucus, right, and fat, which is what the body does in order to defend itself and buffer itself from all the toxic chemicals that we're exposed to, plus the ones that we produced internally as waste product of our metabolism. The body, in order to first buffer that irritation, generates and retains mucus and fat, which in Ayurvedic medicine is called amma.
Mm-hmm.
So
sticky.
Amma, sticky, right? So once you start detoxing, once you reduce the load of toxins that you're exposed to and that are circulating in your blood, you support the liver nutritionally so it can do its work of detoxification. You also somehow give the intestinal flora some strength, because the intestinal flora itself is in charge of 30 to 40 to 50, depending on who you are, percent of the detoxification work in the body, right? Once all these things start happening, then the body doesn't have the need to retain all that mucus and it starts dumping it. The major site through which it's dumped is the stool. You cannot sweat mucus. You cannot breathe mucus out. You cannot pee mucus.
It comes out.
You have to shit it out.
Right.
So that's when from the walls of the intestines, everybody's used to thinking of the intestines as the place that food goes through, and as the place where food goes into the blood. But the intestines also do the reverse. From the blood, they grab stuff and they dump it into the intestine. When they start dumping all this sticky stuff, it just sticks and it takes a shape like old paint, many layers of paint. Yeah, and then that, when it comes out, you see it. It's like in the shape of the colon, it shows you the ostrich of the colon.
It looks like rope.
That's called plaque, intestinal plaque.
It's like black.
Black.
I've seen it black come out of my body. Yeah.
Tarry, you're right. So that is a result of you dumping all that mucus and that fat that you now don't need to retain anymore, because you're reducing you're reducing the exposure and the absorption of toxins, and you are accelerating and supporting its conversion to non-toxic and water soluble so that it can be eliminated. So it's everything is connected. Right?
I think at a certain point you get rid of most of that deep plaque. And if you're maintaining a pretty healthy lifestyle, little buildup comes, but not that rope that takes years. Or do you think it's
absolutely?
Yeah,
Absolutely. But that rope takes a little time to come out.
Yeah, yeah.
That doesn't happen in the first 7 days.
No, it's a long term.
But in 21 days or, that's when it starts happening. And that's where transformations happen. You see them right in front of your eyes.
Well, so doctor, how often now do you do a 7-day or 21-day cleanse personally?
When I first started, I needed to do 2, 3 a year, right? Then less. Then, like everybody else, I go through good times and bad times. So I fall into really bad,
for sure.
habits again.
Yes, we all do. Thank you for being real.
when
when people pretend that they're perfect.
When you go
We all eat crap
when you go through a divorce, when you need money, when
stress.
it's like stress, so like a lot of people, I revert to crap, and I get puffy again. So then I do again, So I'm always, I'm always trying things. Like for example, right now, for the last month, every morning I wake up and I wait a little bit, and then I have 16 or 20 ounces of of celery juice, pure celery juice.
Mm.
You know the medical medium?
Yes.
He's a good friend of mine.
Yes, I saw he wrote the intro to the book.
Yes, and he wrote the intro to my book. He wrote the intro to my book. I wrote the intro to his first book.
Okay, I know he's super into celery juice.
So I've known about the celery juice for years.
I put celery in my GGS, our most popular smoothie.
But it's not the same putting celery in your.
You think it has to be pure?
Well, that's what he says. And that's what the people that are getting like these crazy results are doing.
It's very mixed, some of the stuff I hear, but it's interesting.
Well, listen, I've watched enough that I say
it's working for you.
Not only for me, for a lot of people I know. And for a lot of people, all you have to do is turn his Instagram story and see he posts hundreds of. Anyways, that's what I'm doing now. Then I wait. I don't have anything until 2, 3 in the afternoon. And then there I have a big meal, or the big meal, which basically is salad, or, I do eat meat, I do eat chicken, I do eat fish, I eat everything. But everything that's healthy. Right? If I eat fish, it's caught in the ocean. If I eat chicken, it's range free, hormone free, antibiotic free, and so I have a meal, and then sometimes I don't have anything else until the next day. Or sometimes I have a big clean shake at night. So I'm trying
trying different things. This
protocol.
This would not be a good protocol for pregnant women. I'm hungry listening to that. Obviously, there's periods.
There's no detox protocol that's good for pregnant women. One shouldn't be detoxing when you're pregnant.
No, it's not the time.
You should be eating really good, nourishing food and get away from any drastic program,
Well, doctor, I hear you talking a lot. A couple of times you talked about the liver functionality and supporting the colon. What, in between your program, which, I'm sure you talk about in your book as well, what are some foods and herbs that you have seen in your work really support the liver and the colon longer term that people listening to this can start incorporating on a more regular basis?
The liver is really where most of the chemical reactions that convert lipophilic, meaning only fat-soluble toxins, into non-toxic hydrosoluble compounds or molecules, so that those can be eliminated through sweat, urine, breath, and feces. We can only eliminate stuff that is water soluble. We cannot eliminate stuff that is fat soluble. So that's what the liver does. Just through certain enzymes, the conjugating enzymes and the P450 enzymes in the liver, they do all this. They affect all these chemical reactions. They need certain nutrients to do it, right? They take away this couple of atoms from that toxic molecule, and they add this other couple of atoms. And now this toxic molecule is now non-toxic. Now the other couple of atoms, where do they come from? From food. Those are nutrients, right? Plus you need the antioxidants, because these chemicals are oxidative when they're circulating around. So you want to protect. So that is how you can support the liver nutritionally. You make sure that you have clean food. First of all, you have to stop the source of toxic chemicals in your food, right? So don't eat anything that has chemicals.
Yeah, processed.
Yeah, eat fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds.
Clean
Clean
back
food.
to your
Clean whole
book title.
food.
Yes.
Not
so in general,
food-like
okay.
products, right? So in general,
Yes.
now if you want to be more specific for the liver, you can use things as silimarin. You can use things as tulsi.
Milk thistle.
Yeah, silimarin is milk
okay.
thistle. Yeah.
Do you think
or
that's
dandelion? Yeah.
Yeah. Have you found that to be quite effective?
Yeah.
Okay, like a tea.
Yeah. Well, you can take it as pills, and you can take it in tea too.
Oh, okay.
So there are supplements that will support the liver, and then there's a lot of other things.
And tulsi is good for the liver.
You know, you need sulfur compounds. You need for detoxification. Those come in garlic and onion. But if you're not having those, then you better take them so that the liver can use them up for those chemical reactions. And glutathione, and I mean, there's
Yes.
hundreds of things that you can use to enhance the liver's function, to optimize the liver's function.
But I like how you started with don't make the liver's job so hard in the first place.
Yes.
Don't eat a ton of, fried food, vegetable oils, processed foods, all this stuff.
It's like my sister is suffering with migraines, right? And so she did the clean program, and the migraines disappeared completely.
Amazing.
But then she went through a stressful time, and she calls me back. She says, "Oh, can you find out, because she lives in Uruguay? Can you find out what's the latest medication in
She lives in Uruguay.
Yeah, what's the latest medication for migraines in America? Right? Can you please find out?" I said, "Listen, you just 3 weeks ago finished the clean program. You had no migraines whatsoever during it, but you started eating the crap again, and so you remind me of the man that sits on tax and starts having pain in his butt and asks for aspirin instead of taking the tags out of his butt,
Wow. So funny. Sometimes it just seems, for us, once you've connected the dots, they're there, but sometimes people don't see it.
Even once you connected the dots, you can get easily confused when you're going through difficult times,
Yes. So do you talk about in your program at all, or I don't know if it's in your book, but just in general with your patients now, do you incorporate lifestyle practices like meditation?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. And I
this is where it all started, when you went to India, right?
Yes.
And you were drawn to meditation.
Yeah. But I go a little, I don't want to say further, because nothing is better or worse, but most meditation techniques and practices are the ones in which you sit, you close your eyes, you put your hands like this, and you breathe, and you say prayers, or you follow your breath, or you repeat a mantra, right? But then you open your eyes and you stand up and you have to do your life. And that, kind of
wipes it out.
Kind of, unless you've been doing it for a long time. So I follow certain teachings that allow me to become present at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, right now, I'm talking to you, I'm looking at you, but I'm also noticing the mountains behind you, and that big quartz that you have there, and that chair, and the camera that's filming, and the thing that's between us. So I make a small, subtle mental note of those things at all times.
And that keeps you very present.
Well, those things are in the present. So that is my attention, some of my attention being anchored in the present. So it makes me more present. Or, for example, I put some of my attention on my feet. So right now, as you speak to me, put some of your attention on your feet. Feel your feet. Feel them from inside. Feel the temperature, the humidity. Feel them touching the floor. Don't move them.
Just wiggled my toes. All right, I won't move them.
You don't need to move them.
Yeah, just feel the aliveness.
Feel
energy.
Them.
Yes, I feel them.
So feel them touching. Feel the temperature. So keep on doing it. Now, 2 minutes ago when we were talking, the feet were non-existent in your awareness.
Correct.
But now they are. Keep on doing it. So I'm looking at everything. I'm feeling my feet. I'm also listening to everything, which is very little difficult with these things, because now I'm only listening to you.
Sure.
But in general, I would be hearing the bird chirping and the cars go by, and maybe your heater turning on and off, And And all of that anchors you in the present.
Does that help you stop following thought patterns?
Imagine this. Not imagine, but think of this. We have a certain amount of attention to be used at any given time. Now, that attention, it either goes into things in the present or is sucked by the vortex of negative, repetitive thinking. When that tension goes, now if you're really focused, like when you were feeling your feet, you forgot, but now start feeling them
I
again.
know, I did forget. I feel them now.
Yeah. So now check how just doing that, everything kind of settles.
Yeah, it's harder to focus on your feet and follow all the thoughts.
and be pulled away from here now by your thoughts, which is what happens to all of us all the time.
Interesting, because I was so focused on you in our conversation, but then with the feet, I'm like, oh, am I splitting it? But no, because I'm still with you, but it's part of the present.
Not only you're with me, you're more present with me, because whatever you were giving me, part of it was going into the next question that you're going to ask, or just interpreting, or just maybe remembering that your toddler, needs breast or whatever it is. Right?
That's true.
Yeah. So, but when you are feeling your feet and listening to me, those are not taking you away. You are really.
Wow, that's interesting, doctor. That is interesting. So you are practicing
all day long.
Presence all day long.
Not only 20 minutes in the morning and 20
I
minutes
love
at
that.
night, like certain
that's
people
beautiful.
do, which is great to do that too.
And it gets easier.
One doesn't replace the other, right?
Sure.
These are two different.
Well, it's keeping you anchored in between the sitting meditation.
Yeah. The sitting meditations are great. They're really important. I'm not taking anything away from them, right? But that's why I started by saying maybe I go a step further but I don't know if it's a step further. I think it's just one more tool.
It is. It's integration with daily life.
But it's a tool that you can use all day long.
Well, I think so many people eat mindlessly, right? And just grabbing food. You don't realize you're eating. You don't realize you're snacking. You don't know when you're full. So being present, which we hear a lot, but the actual practice of it could really help a lot of people.
Yeah, and think about this. You forgot about your feet again, but I want to put you...
I forgot about my feet.
Yeah, listen, it's easy to see. Once you've been practicing it a long time...
How do you know?
You can see. You can, I don't know, see it, feel it, or sense it.
You could tell I forgot about my feet.
I can tell you the moment if attention goes away from your feet.
Oh, my God.
But because I'm doing it.
You're on your feet still.
Since I came in.
Damn.
Yeah. So
for like an hour you've been with your feet.
Well, it went away at times when I got excited about telling you things, but
in the car when you're driving, you're with your feet.
No, I was listening to Howard Stern, so I was completely out of my mind.
So it's when
I remember.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm taking.
But is your goal to be on your feet all the time?
My goal is to be present all the time.
Right, and I mean, like, yeah.
That would be a at that time. That would be a consequence of it, not the cause of it.
Got it. Wow, I'm gonna try that.
At any time, I tell people to do that even when they go to an important meeting. They say, "No, why would I waste my attention on my feet or the surroundings? I have to be, But that's really not true, because when you have to really be on something, your fears, your thing, they may interfere. But when you're present, nothing interferes, and you don't even need to think about how you're going to say what you're going to say. It just flows out.
That's amazing. Well, doctor, I've been studying meditation for a long time too, different aspects, but this idea is something that's very new for me, and I'm going to try it. So thank you so much.
You want to read an interesting book?
Tell me.
Apart from mine. In Search of the Miraculous.
Who's the author?
Peter Demianovich Ouspensky. He's a Russian philosopher.
Yes, I think he's referenced in Be Here Now.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah. So he studied under a teacher called Gurdjieff. And Gurdjieff was just an incredible man.
In Search of the Miraculous. Yeah. I will buy it today.
Very controversial. But these distinctions that I'm talking about, that's where I got them from.
Amazing. Well, Dr. Younger, I could pick your brain all day, but thank you so much for coming. I'm glad we did this in person so you could see what I wasn't thinking about my feet. Obviously, so much knowledge. Beauties, we will link in the show notes to information about Dr. Younger, his website, cleanprogram.com, his new book called Clean 7.
Instagram, Dr. Alejandro Junger.
Yes, and we will link to that as well. Also at Clean Program we have here. So thank you so much, Doctor. This has been really fascinating.
My pleasure.
And thank you so much, beauties, for tuning in. As always, we are back here Thursday for our next Q&A podcast. We have lots of resources for you, including the show notes from today's interview over on our website, mysaluna.com. And we're on social at _Kimberly Snyder.